We're good? We're on. We're ready to go. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 63rd episode. It's 63rd? 63rd. The 63rd. Wait, is it the 63rd? Welcome to the 63rd episode of the Koi Marketplace, and other stuff. Lately, there's actually been a lot of other stuff. Michael kicked off the other stuff about 2 weeks ago with koi statues, and I guess that we're now going to do a lot more other stuff because it's really worked out, and we want to continue to do that. So, welcome everyone. It's Saturday. It's pretty chilly out today. What is it? It's 44 degrees.
Spring says great job on the glasses.
Oh, thank you. You know what? I woke up this morning and I said I put them right next to my keys so I wouldn't forget them today. So I made sure I had them, and I left them in my truck, and then someone just reminded me to go and get them. So, but I'm wearing them more often than I usually do. So that's a good thing. We have everyone here today. Say good morning. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. You guys know Mike and Gabe? I want to welcome everyone to the show today. How many people are on? 17. Lots of stuff to talk about today. First things first, my wife and I finished watching the 3rd season of Succession. If you haven't watched that show, it's awesome. It's really good. It's got this great saying. He basically he just says, fuck off. So he's done with the conversation, fuck off. Fuck off. Gabe, fuck off. And that's his big, it's kind of stupid the way I'm saying it, but it's a great, I don't know. It probably wouldn't go over well if I started saying that to customers, so I won't say that with customers, but it's a really good show. Kieran Culkin, Macaulay Culkin's son, is one of the best characters. His name is Roman. He's absolutely hilarious. If you haven't watched it, definitely check it out. What other shows are you guys watching? You watch Michael and I are also watching The Last of Us, also a great show. I have some catching up to do. You watched the whole thing? Season's over? That was a really good show too. So if you like zombie kind of stuff, that's definitely a cool one.
Spring is saying, do it with a Long Island accent.
See what with a Long Island accent? Fuck off? I don't know. That's just how I say it. Fuck off? That doesn't sound Long Island.
Michael Adrian said, have you started watching The Offer?
No, I haven't started watching The Offer yet. I tried to get my wife to watch it, and she wasn't really into it. And I have to watch what she wants to watch. I actually convinced her to watch Succession, and the first half of the first season, she was like, what is this? I don't want to watch this. And then she really got into it, and then we finished watching the 3rd season yesterday. So, but I'll just end up watching The Offer on my own, Michael.
Deborah says, no spoilers on The Last of Us, not caught up yet.
I'm not saying a word. I won't say anything. I actually haven't seen the last 2 episodes, so I have some catching up to do. Well, thank you guys for joining us. It's been a great 63 episodes. Yes.
2 other things. Jeff Seaver says Tulsa King.
I love Tulsa King. I watch that too. I watch TV late at night.
And Spring says Covert Affairs and Designated Survivors are throwbacks, I think.
Designated Survivor is really good. I watched it a long time ago. That's Netflix picked it up and did the final season of that. Really good show. If you haven't watched that show, it's really good. What was the other one?
The other one was Covert Affairs.
I'll take a look at that. I've never heard of it, but I'll take a look. So yes, I'm unshaven. I just put my hand on my face and realized that I did forget to shave. I'll shave next time. It is what it is. But lots of things happening here. Michael, if you want to step down for a second and pan around, see we have an excavator here, and we have Sound Shore Ponds is here, and it is obviously very odd. You must be saying to yourself, well, why does Sean have another pond company here? Well, we have another pond company here because we have stepped away from doing pond construction. This year, with everything else going on with the company, the growth of the koi business, the growth of our maintenance business, we've decided to step back from doing pond construction, and we brought in Sound Shore Ponds. And they're going to be doing all of our pond construction water features moving forwards. And the cool thing is they're actually doing the first project here right in the corner. If you didn't see last week, what we did is we took you out to the corner. I'm going to take you out there one more time. But I wanted to introduce you to Al Schul from South Shore Ponds. Here's Al. What's up, brother?
How are you?
How's everything?
All right, man. Good to be here. Good to be here.
So today's day one, and I don't think they're going to be doing too much today. They're really just kind of getting a lay of the land. They brought some of the equipment in, kind of like a soft opening. They're just going to dig a little bit and just get things kicked off. You excited?
We're going to put a big hole in the earth is what we're going to do.
We're going to put a really big hole in the earth.
Fill it with water. It's going to be awesome.
Yes. We're very excited. We actually we got some stone over here. Although we didn't size it, it looks like it's in different piles of different sizes. Well, we brought in some stone to kick things off. We actually have some pieces here as well. I don't know if we're going to probably need some more, but we're likely going to need some more pieces. But
nice big moss rocks, chunky Pennsylvania fieldstone.
So guys, if you're not aware, and you guys are all over the country, so you all have different types of stone in your areas. So this is moss rock. And you probably can't guess why they call it moss rock, but I don't know. But this is moss rock. Comes in various sizes, of course. I prefer using moss rock. It's much more organic looking. It looks like there should be water wrapped around it, and you can actually add moss to it. But we're always trying to get moss on it. So you can see the moss is growing, and as long as it's in a damp area, that moss will continue to grow and flourish. We have a couple of pieces here. This piece right here, this is a good 2,500 pound piece right here, I would say. Yeah, there's a really large piece of stone here, and
this has a beautiful, almost like a shelf to shield water.
Michael, come a little closer.
We were already eyeballing this.
All right, Michael's just answering a question. Hold on one sec. All good?
Everyone was saying that it froze.
So we were just looking at this piece here. This is a good 2,500 to 3,000 pound piece here. This is almost 6 feet long, 2.5 feet tall, 2.5 feet wide. This is a big piece of stone here. Al was just telling us a little bit about this piece.
So it's got some really nice nooks and crannies in here that we like to push the water through. We're going to get water shearing off of this because it's almost like a flat ledge, and it'll really give that white water effect coming off.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We have a couple of pieces here, and this is PA or Pennsylvania fieldstone here. So you can see we have a couple of pieces here, and we'll utilize these within the waterfall as well. Either they're just going to sit flat on the, within the stream pathway or the waterfall pathway, water will roll over, or you can use these for a sheer descent. You can use them in a lot of different ways. Yeah, you want to go and take a look? You have some ideas on the waterfall?
Let's go.
All right, we're gonna go over to the corner here. Go ahead. We're just going this way. It's a nice excavator.
Yeah, she's got the juice to move those stones.
So we're just going to take a quick walk over here. So, I'm not sure if you're new to the show. Many of you have been on the show before. You guys have been great at coming back every weekend to watch us. You've seen the progression of what we've been doing here. And we love ideas. If you have ideas on stuff, let me know. I think I want to put one of our koi over here in the corner. Michael's laughing really hard. Should you not tell me? Tell me. Don't tell me. All right, we're probably going to put one of those big 6-foot koi right in here. I'm not sure which one, but we're going to put something right here. Chris Hayes runs LI Bonsai. He's going to make some brackets for the koi so that we can place them on something. We'll probably do some sonotube of cement, and we'll create a bracket, and we'll sit the koi right on top of that. They'll sit right there. Come on this way. So as you guys know, Koi Market, we're at 539 Deer Park Avenue in Dix Hills, New York. This is the North Service Road. That's the 495. 495 Long Island Expressway is the busiest expressway. It's the busiest road in all of Long Island. And it crosses over the busiest road, which is, well, avenue is Deer Park Avenue right here. So we got 9,000 cars pass by here every single day. So they'll actually see that waterfall when they're sitting at the lights over here. And we have another 38,000 cars pass by each way on Deer Park Avenue right here. So it's a massive amount of traffic that passes through here. So you have the cars that are turning onto the service road, the North Service Road here. So they're parked there. They'll be able to see everything there. You have the cars that are parked coming down the service road in the corner over here. Then you have the cars parked here at the light at Deer Park Avenue. So there's a lot of opportunity to see what we're going to do here. We're looking to take advantage of this whole space. And there's Al up at the top. So you can see.
Can you see it? Can you see it from here? It's going to be amazing.
You want to talk a little bit?
Yeah. All right. So this is our main focal point. As Sean was saying, we have so much traffic here that's going to be passing through, and this is going to get a lot of views. People are going to see this from different angles. So our goal is to create this waterfall from all the way up here. We have probably a good 8 to 10 foot drop from the back to the front. We're going to create some different nooks and crannies, different angles for the water to come down, so everybody can appreciate it. You got to love the traffic out here. It's crazy. So super excited to get this cleaned up. Sean had a bunch of trees dropped to clear the area. We're going to pull those stumps out. We're going to harvest all these rocks. We're going to set them aside. We'll do our excavation, and then we'll get it. We'll get this thing started. I'm hoping we get it done within a couple weeks.
So guys, I'm 6'4". I'm 6'4", so you can see what I was talking about. I mean, we have a lot of space here. I mean, right here is pretty much where the ground is, but we can go higher than that. So there's a lot of opportunity for us to do something really spectacular here. Also something fairly wide. So you'll be able to see the water from over here, over there, as well as from over there. Unfortunately, we have this big telephone pole. I asked them to get rid of it, but they said no. I tried to.
Tell them about the piece that we're going to put out here. That's going to be like a showcase.
Well, no, I did tell them about that. So what I was talking about, I don't think this piece, I think these are separate.
Yes.
These are separate, but still a really good piece.
This is going to be, I have a feeling this is going to be a really, really nice piece of moss rock.
There's a bunch of nice pieces around the area, and you guys can also take anything. We got some pieces on the lawn, anything around you guys can pull. So there's two really cool things we're going to do here, and we want to make sure that you're going to be able to see this at nighttime. So we're going to have lights, throughout the water feature. And then we're going to have a giant 6-foot koi, and we're going to shoot flames out of his mouth. So that should be pretty cool too. It did cross my mind, actually.
A little fire and a little water.
It was mentioned having some water come out of the koi's mouth, but I don't think we're going to go there.
No.
But the idea is to have the 6-foot koi will have a show right here, over here. It'll be in this area. We'll have to play around with it. But the idea here is that you're going to know exactly where you are. You're going to be a koi market. I did also talk with a friend of mine, and we were discussing putting a sign back there for koi market. I don't know how we're going to do it, if we're going to do it, but it's something. But we may still put a sign back there. We do have one or two trees. They're supposed to come back and take that one out, and I'm looking forward to this, guys. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. All right. So they're going to get started here, and next week we should see a difference here. I don't know exactly how far we're going to get, but what are we doing?
The signal's getting lost.
Oh, the signal's getting lost. Okay. So I was saying they're going to get started here, hopefully by next week, next Saturday. hopefully by next Saturday there should be a big difference in what you see in the corner. Things happen. We'll see what happens. Weather could also play a role in slowing things down. But I'm pretty excited. Any questions?
Everyone's saying they've lost signal.
Oh.
The phone calls, and notifications that still come through.
Gotcha. So we got a phone call that came in. Isn't that turned off?
Yes, but it depends on your settings.
Oh.
If people call multiple times, they'll still get through.
Oh, okay. All right. So can you guys hear me okay? Is the signal okay? Let me know. I just want to make sure that you can hear me okay and see me okay. It is freezing. I have to put my sweatshirt back on. Huh? I was wishful thinking wearing shorts today. I definitely debated, should I wear them? The other day it was freezing out, and then the next day it was 65. So I got some wishful thinking that it was going to be warmer. So can everyone hear me, or everything's good? All right. So I'm not sure where we left off as far as what you guys could see and hear. But what I was saying is they're getting started with the waterfall today, and by the next show, episode 64, we should see a big difference. Speaking of episode 64, which is next Saturday, we also have our tri-state meeting is next Saturday, I believe. We have a Koi Club meeting next Saturday, which will happen the same time as this meeting. So, I got to check. I have to check. We actually have one after the other. And I apologize. I believe it's the Tri-State DNA is next Saturday, and then the following weekend on Sunday is the MAKC. Really excited to have them here. Michael is going to be doing the show next week. Yes. I figured this was a good time for me to announce. I know you guys always prefer that Michael does the show over me, so I wanted to tell you. And everyone here's Travis. Travis just made an appearance. Good morning, Travis. So next weekend, so the big question this week was, are we going to do a live show for the Koi Club meeting? The answer is no. And the reason why we can't do a live show for the Koi Club meeting is because it's going on at the same time as the live show that we normally do on Saturdays. So we will record the live show. So both Gabe and Travis have said that they'll work on Saturday so that one person can hold the camera for the live show for the Koi Club meeting, and then one person can hold the camera for Michael. So we'll have a lot being filmed next Saturday. If you're not part of the Koi Club, you're still welcome to come. We would love to have you guys here. The whole idea about doing these Koi Club meetings here is that we're getting groups together that have a similar interest, and we're all learning more about the hobby. So whether you're part of the club or not, we still want you to come. And if you want to join the club, then please do. We would love to have you as part of the club. Question? Hey, Anthony. Yes. I was just saying. Yes. So Anthony had asked, I had just actually commented on this, but Anthony had asked, can anyone go to these meetings? And the answer is absolutely 100% yes. We want you to come to these meetings. The whole idea here is for you guys to be introduced to other people that are in the clubs that have the same interests that you do, which is this awesome hobby, which is koi, filtration, ponds, just outdoor living. So we want you to be there. We want you to come by, and you're all welcome to be here. So please do. Travis, can you ask those guys if they're getting started? Fine. I just need them to move their trucks. They could put this one over there, or I don't know. It may be able to fit in front there if we open that gate.
You gotta leave the trailer here so you can.
Okay. Thanks, Trav.
Move the other vehicles in the back.
I already moved everything. I did. Yeah. Holy cow, it's cold. So koi clubs, yeah. So we have the Tri-State and the MAKC koi clubs coming here over the next 2 weekends, and the Sunday MAKC will be a live event. We will record that. I just had to get someone to stay and record it for me.
You said it's on a Sunday?
It's on a Sunday.
We could just live stream instead of recording.
Well, sorry, I meant live stream. Did I say record? I didn't.
Live stream, then record.
Right. Don't listen to me. But now listen to me. Okay. So we'll be live streaming the MAKC events on Sunday. We won't be live streaming the Tri-State because it's on a Saturday. So, all right. Any other questions regarding that? No? All right. Let's go this way. So we had a bunch of things going on. We're talking about doing, instead of a stucco on the front, we're talking about doing some other things. We have a couple of ideas. I will hopefully surprise you in the next week or two with what we're doing on the front wall to make it look awesome. We do have to put the gutters in. We still have to put flashing in. We still have a lot of sealing to do. We have a whole bunch of sealing all over the building just to seal it in and make sure that water's not getting through. And come on this way. We got to get this pallet out of here. This pallet is making me crazy. This pallet has been sitting here for a month. So we just had the heating and air conditioning guy here. They're putting 3 units in the attic. The condensers are going in, outside, or vice versa. Condensers go outside. Condensers are going outside. We've been working on the electric. So all that is happening in here. I just met with another contractor for the front desk. Kind of excited about this contractor. I'm hoping that happens. This is the shell. I told you guys that I bought out a PetSmart. PetSmart went out of business a couple of years ago, and I bought out a whole bunch of stuff from them. And one of the things was fish tanks. So we have a whole bunch of fish tanks. I can show you what those look like. And then I bought out the shelving that they had in there, and you can see. So this is kind of the layout here, guys. So this area over here, where all this air conditioning stuff is sitting, all in here is going to be filtration displays. So we have green reset filters, bead filters, waterfall boxes, Baki showers are going to go along this wall here on display. So you can see exactly how they function. Not being turned on, but. And then the idea here is this table will either be submersible pumps, and we'll actually have the pumps, pumps in general, will be displayed across the top and stock on the bottom, something like that. And then we'll have UVs and aeration. Go ahead.
Ed was yesterday.
Hi, Ed.
Says he drove down from Saratoga yesterday while working with Showcase again. Sean and the team can't keep the knowledge and quality.
Oh, you're very welcome, Ed. Thank you for coming. It was a nice visit. Ed picked some amazing fish. He got some great fish. He got a couple of Suzuki. We have some amazing Suzuki left. So I'm going to do those in the show today. They got some great fish, and we had a nice time. It was a really good visit. Yes. So what I was saying was I'll probably do aeration and UVs and a couple of other things on this table here. Water treatments, fish medications, things like that. Some smaller items will be in the shelving here. And more product will go on these shelves all in here. I like this. This is actually Michael's idea. I wasn't sure how I was going to lay the shelving out. And we came up with this, and he said, let's put everything on this wall. So it came out great. We have all 3 of these shelves coming in this way, and then part of this shelf will actually be in. So the shelving, the desk will start around here and wrap around this way. So it's 30 inches wide, 36 inches high. Wraps around this whole thing, and then we're going to do some shelving using, I have 2 pieces of this wood left. So basically it's going to be just like this, 1, 2. And we're going to do another one of these that's half this size, so we'll do a 12-inch height, and that's actually going to be sitting on this side of the desk. So we'll actually have some shelving in here that ties into the look of this. Really just brings the whole thing together. Fingers crossed that it all happens. We'll see. It's been a tough road to get that part done, but we're hoping that we get it done soon. Yeah. Any questions? No questions. Okay. I was working on signs. I had new signs made up. So these are signs that go. I know, like, my handwriting is horrible, but these are the signs that go over the tanks. You guys saw some of this stuff at the old shop, but the idea here is that everything is nice and clean and clear, like what is in each area. Yes.
Mike Ager is asking any electrical contractor for the desk.
Yes. So we met with another contractor yesterday, and it was an excellent conversation. And this same contractor is also going to be doing the front of the building, and I'm not going to say exactly what we're doing because it'll be a bit of a surprise, and hopefully that gets done soon. And this same contractor is going to do a proposal for the desk, and fingers crossed that he can do it because I like this guy. And yeah, that's really it. I have been thinking a lot about what's going to happen in here. So goldfish is a big part of our business too. We want to do lots of goldfish, lots of different types. We're going to do aquariums around this side here. And the aquarium tanks will house goldfish and other fish. I'm thinking that I want to do built-in tanks along this end. I haven't even talked to Michael about this yet. Huh? Well, no, the aquarium tanks are here. I think I may want to do tanks following this, not fish tanks. So actually, we'll build some boxes here, and we'll house a couple of different types of fish. So we'll do, your standard sarasses and Joaquin and a few other things. I don't know if we're going to do Tomasaba. We've done Tomasaba for years, and Joaquin. Joaquin is a short split tail, or they may say Waken, but I say Joaquin. There's also Watanai. Watanai is a triple tail. We'll do some Mirandas. We're going to do a bunch of different things, and then we're going to do some higher end goldfish in the tanks as well. That's the current plan. But I was thinking and debating what I would, if I was going to do tanks here, what I was going to make them with, whether I was going to go with wood boxes or if I was going to do it out of block. That I haven't decided yet. We'll do green reset filters to filter them. I purposely I made sure we had drains, so we have drains in the corners on both sides, so that we can maintain the tanks. So that's not an issue. We'll have plenty of electric, and yeah, I'm kind of excited about that. Questions?
Zach,
Hey, Zach.
where can I buy the big fish you have in the back?
Zach, it took me. You want to see these here? So. So this koi was in my pond, unfortunately passed away, and I had it stuffed because I just didn't want to forget it. So yeah. These are actually from Indonesia. They're made out of fiberglass. Honestly, it took me 2 years to get these, Zach. Getting them is really difficult, especially because the company that made these in Indonesia was very difficult to work with. And it wasn't me that was working with, my friend Dan that was working with them. And when I say he had a nightmare of a time, it was it was very difficult. This company has a lot to make up for if he's going to work with them again. I know that he is continuing to talk with them, and they do owe him a lot of product. So hopefully he gets that straightened out and we can get some more models in, because I think they do a good job. These are actually, they're incredibly light. Could I pick this up like this? I can pick it up. So
Put a saddle.
you could put a saddle on it. Travis actually mentioned having rides on the koi, and yeah. So, but we have a Tantra show here and a kohaku here. I'll probably put the kohaku out by the mailbox. The show is going in front of the big waterfall, and the Tantra show I haven't decided yet, but we may put it in front of the store. You know, just something that where we can take some pictures of the store, and it'll be pretty cool. My friend Charlie came by, and we were talking about signage. You know, signage is a difficult thing, especially here in Dix Hills. You have to be very careful what you do, but the idea was to actually have Koi Market put on the panels on the roof, which could be pretty interesting. So just a giant koi market up on the roof so that you could actually see it from the road when you pass by. If we can do it, I'll mention it to a friend of mine and see what he thinks. Yeah, that would be cool. Kind of like, do you guys remember the movie Porky's? You know, get it? It was a great movie. I actually took my mother to see Porky's. I saw Porky's with my mother. Oh my God, you can't even imagine. I think I was hiding most of the time because I was so embarrassed because my mother was like, "What the hell did you take me to?" She laughed a couple of times, but that was interesting having dinner afterwards. Yes.
Zach Perron is asking them, let me know when I can buy one or two.
Zach, if they come available again, I will definitely let you know. I don't want to be responsible for getting anything from this company to any of my customers. You know, promising stuff and then them not delivering would be disastrous. I don't want to do that. But if it comes about and we can get them again, I will let you know. I promise. There are other companies that make koi statues. Whether I want to spend the money to bring an entire container of statues in, I don't know. We'll see. But we did have some really cool statues. Zach, you missed. We actually had Michael did a show two episodes ago where we brought in all of our other koi statues. We actually had some. We do have 3 statues left if you're interested in the smaller ones. Where are those? Gabe, can you grab those and bring those into the big koi house?
All 3 of them?
There's 4 of them. There's 3 Sanke, Tantra Sanke, and a Shiro.
They don't have a name in them. They should be separate.
Yeah, they're in the middle of the room.
How much would one of those cost?
It's many thousands. It would be quite a lot of money. Bringing something like this in is expensive. I literally waited 2 years to get these. It took a really long time, and I didn't think I was going to get them. So I guess I can talk a little about what took place. You know, what?
Jeff Siegel says Michael created WWE Koi Battle Royale. That's the best.
If you guys if you didn't catch the episode 2 episodes ago, so episode 60, where are we? We're on 64?
63.
We're on 63, so episode 61. I was away in Florida visiting my parents, and Michael and Gabe and Travis were doing the show, and Michael presented. We had about 40 koi statues of different sizes, and everyone was. It was like a battle royale. I guess it was a cage match, getting these statues. So I'm glad everyone got what they got. It did cause a little bit of chaos, which we never want to have on the show. You know, I want everyone to be happy, and I wish I did have stuff for everyone. We just weren't able to get as many as I would have liked. But I literally took everything that came in from Indonesia. So getting from this company again is going to be difficult. But I know that when they came into the port, money had not been paid, and it was not my friend Dan. It was from Indonesia. They didn't pay, and they actually were charging a day rate every single day that it didn't get paid, and the bill just kept going higher and higher and higher. And I think that's how they get you guys. Well, that they get people is that they create this situation where people just you know, they sell these containers, you know, on these TV shows where, you know, these fees get so large that they eventually have to forfeit the container, and then the company sells the container off. And it got to that point where I was like $10,000 or $15,000 in fees or something crazy, and it had to be paid off in order to get that container. So it was a bit of a disaster to get it. So I know that you know, my friend has a bit of a bad taste in his mouth about the entire ordeal, and I feel for him. It would really suck for him because he did have a lot invested in it, and you know, he did it. You know, it was definitely a passion thing. You know, bringing these in, and you know, they are delicate, and he had quite a few of them made. You know, he put a lot of thought into what he was having done, and I did keep one for myself, guys. I did keep one, and Michael kept one as well, and we both took Showa. I think I have a Deutsch Showa.
Yeah, the Deutsch Showa.
I have a Deutsch Showa, and Michael has a Showa. Yeah, he's got a Wagoi Showa. But we do have 4 left, and Gabe's going to grab those, and we'll show those off. I do have these cool things that I was able to get. Have you guys seen these? Take this off of here. I don't know if you've seen these. I do. So these are really cool, nice, cool piece to have on your desk or something like that. This is cool. Don't put it in your pond. So these are koi locks. See that? See that? Now, there's a secret to opening it, actually. See the eye here? You actually have to press the eye down, and the pectoral fin actually goes down like that. You see that? That goes down like that. You have to put the key in, and you have to press this button at the same time. Let's see if I can do this here. And try and open it.
Sure, you have to press the eye.
Yes. There you go. And that's how you open it. But you have to press the eye to do it. These are cool. These are selling. I only have a few of them. They're going for. I have to figure out how to. I'll put this back. They're going. I think they're going for $50. If you guys are interested, I have 2 different colors. Let me see here. This one's cool too. See that? Yeah, it's a little more rustic looking. I have this one and this one. If you guys are interested, I think I have 4 of them. They're going for $50.
Sell them there.
Huh?
Sell them there.
I might as well just sell them now. Going once? If anyone's interested, let me know. But they are pretty cool. Check them out. I don't know if you can see the details on them. What do you think of these guys? They're pretty cool, right? You know, if you like koi stuff, you know, it's kind of just goes with the stuff that we're collecting here. Let me know if you're interested.
Jim Gill says, surprised the Chagway isn't larger.
Surprised the Chagway isn't larger. Oh, well, you know what? It'll grow.
Spring says, I would like one of each.
You would like one of each? Okay. Spring, they're yours. Absolutely.
And then Brian Malone is asking, what are they made of?
Oh, it's, I'm going to say it's brass. So, I have 2 gold, and I have 2 that have this green patina on them. But it is a brass. I don't think I would lock up anything really important with it. I have to lock that one again. But they're pretty cool. Yeah, and just one pectoral fin goes down that reveals the lock.
Spring's like you only have 2 now.
I only have 2 left now.
You have one of each.
I have
2 that you're holding.
yes. These 2 are available. The other 2 are now sold. Yes. Anyone's interested?
Get them now.
Get them now. These are all things I was going to put in the store, so
You have to buy more.
my store is going to be empty before we get to kick things off. We're actually going to do a huge order in here to start filling this place pretty soon. But let me know. I have 2 left. They're $50 each. Do we have any takers on these?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Okay, that's fine. I'd like to have them on the shelf, so that's cool. So we did decide to make a change on the doors. So guys, see, we have up here, we have double doors here. We were going to do a sliding door over there. Michael's not paying attention. We were going to do a sliding door over there on the wall.
That's why I said.
Maybe that's why BJ was calling me. All right. Oh, look, and he's got a DOT. So we got pulled over this week for multiple violations. I'll tell you about that in a second. But so we have the other door here. We're having 2 more of these doors made, and we're going to do a double door here instead of the sliding door. And then we have the other door is going to go onto the greenhouse, and one day they're going to finish it. Yeah. When that day comes, I don't know. But it will be pretty cool to be able to go from the store into the Tosai house, which is the plan, is to be able to walk from here to there and not actually have to go into the back door, which I'm hoping that, I won't say back door. So, anyways, Michael and Gabe are laughing. What is wrong with you guys? Oh my God. So those doors will hopefully be done. I'm hoping they're going to get done tomorrow. Then we'll have something to walk through next week. All right. So I think that's it for this stuff. Let's go into the big koi house. Hey, how's it going? Are you on the phone with BJ?
Yeah, I send me the pictures and then I'm gonna take the measurements right now. So one on each side of the door, you say?
All right. So we have a lot of contractors here today doing stuff. I'm going to head on over here. When he's off the call, just come find me.
Okay, no problem.
All right. We can open the door for a minute or two, I guess. Right?
Okay.
This one, sliding door.
This one?
Yeah. So the idea here is that when you pull up, you're going to come in and you're going to be able to walk through the door, and we'll switch sides. I'm wondering if this is not straight or the wood is not straight. I have to check, but it's definitely crooked. We didn't put that in, but whatever. So the whole idea here is when you pull up, you'll be able to see all the bonsai here. The big koi house is right there, and you can actually see all the water that's running in there. And you'll be able to walk there. The sun is coming out. It's actually getting warmer. That's pretty cool. But come on this way. I don't know. Is that the door guy?
It says gutters on it.
No, the one that's next to it.
I thought that was the HVAC guys.
No, it says glass.
So there you go. So it's the door guy.
Door plus glass and mirror. I think that's our door guy. So they're actually going to work on the doors today. So that's cool. I'm excited. So maybe we'll actually get that done today. That's great. So how many people are on?
35.
We have 35 people on. And cool. So this is our big koi house. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm not sure if there's anyone new. If you're new to the show, please say hello. We love to know who's new on the show. We don't always get to see every name that comes up. But if you are new to the show, then water is collecting, I guess, in between, and it's yeah. I guess from the rain. We did have some rain this week, so the tanks aren't full of water. We're actually going to lower them down further. We will be putting fish in. The reason why I haven't put fish in, guys, is we're waiting for the fish to come out of quarantine. And so I have fish in the Tosai house that are getting moved over here, and then I have fish in the quarantine house that are getting moved over here as well. So I don't want to leave the Tosai house basically unattended. I want to make sure that there are fish in there creating waste, which is a food source for the bio. So I can't have those tanks sitting empty waiting for the fish, because then the bio is going to die inside the tanks. Gabe, hold the camera. Gabe, you talk for a second. I'm just going to talk to these guys really quick. I'll be right back. Okay. Talk about... hey.
All right, guys, filling in. If you guys don't know me, my name is Michael. I have a question.
Spring said, let's be the big guy.
That's a great idea. So if you guys don't know, we made an area so that people can come sit and watch and enjoy looking at these guys. We have a bunch of fish in here that always want to eat. Some of them even eat out of my hand. Look, see the chagoy? What I tell you guys, the chagoy is always the first one to come up. Let's see if they try to eat out of my hand again. Tanchos, the Showa, Ochiba over here is ready to eat out of my hand. The Benigoi right here is a fatty. We got a big platinum over there.
Brian Malone said, quick, Michael, sell us some fish before Sean comes back.
If you guys want to purchase these fish, they are available. Deborah? Hi, Deborah. All these fish are at least 3 years old.
Jeff Siegel said, fish sale while Sean's away.
We can sell some fish for some great deals. These fish start at $3,000. They go all the way up to $85. $8,500, not $85. I wish.
I'm assuming that's the Mukashi.
Yes, the Mukashi, the scaled Wagoi Mukashi, is $85. He's right there, or she's right there. Sean's back.
Steve, hold on. Steve said, Michael is the man. Thank you for coordinating another great delivery from Milwaukee.
Oh, thanks, Steve. I'm glad everything got there okay. No, not 85K, 8,500. Buy one, get one free would be crazy. There you go.
Oh, thanks. All right, so guys, I'm back. So Gabe is just holding the camera because Michael wants to come and be on camera for the rest of it. Did you want to do the rest of the show? No? All right. Michael's going to do the show next week. We actually just have the guys from Clear Gutters here, and they're coming to give us an estimate on doing the gutters for the store. So excited about that. We have to do the gutters. The rain is coming down, and it's literally creating these giant pools of water around the building, and then that's actually seeping into the block and coming through and creating puddles in the store. So it's something that has to get taken care of. Any questions about the koi house, please ask. Ask questions about filtration. We're still working on some ideas here to make it even more comfortable in here for people to come and hang out. We are going to put a fridge in here. We talked about, someone mentioned doing a sake dispenser. I don't think we're going to do that, but it was a really cool idea. And we have our bagging tables and our oxygen now set up. We still have to get a hose for that. And everything else in here, other than electric and lighting, We did put a test light up here. So these are the lights that we're going to be using. I think we're definitely going to go with this. It was bright, but so we'll do a light here. I'll probably move this light over one to there. I'll have to take a look, and then over there. So yeah. So this koi house is pretty much done. So we did this week. We did the overflows. You can see the overflow pipe is on the walls there. We also did the autofills. So we have water that runs through. So we have this all set up like this, and you just turn the water on, and it'll keep filling. Now we always run a drip line on our tanks. Yeah, you can close it. We always run a drip line on our tanks. The spray dissipates any chlorine that's in the water. I've been doing it for more than 10 years in this area. It's never been an issue for us. And in a retail setting where you have a lot of fish in the tanks, you really need to have a drip line set up and running all the time. Chris is actually waiting for us over in Bonsai. We're going to take a walk over there. You got questions? Okay, come on. All right. You guys are good?
Yes, we're good.
All right.
Gonna finish that, and then we're gonna be getting back to
Okay.
you guys. Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you.
So, we still need to clean up this area. That'll happen this week. And we're going to head on over to Bonsai. Chris, you ready for us? So Chris is repotting some plants right now, and I wanted to show you guys just a little bit of what Chris is doing here. I'm going to give Chris the microphone. I'll clip it on you so they can hear. All right. So if you guys don't know Chris, this is Chris Hayes. Chris Hayes is the owner of LI Bonsai and Supply.
Co-owner.
Co-owner with me. And this is our bonsai house. So right now everything in here is laying dormant. Laid dormant for about 90 days. And going into that dormancy allows the plant to go through its proper growth cycle, I guess, right?
Yeah, it needs dormancy to stay healthy on plants that aren't tropical.
Right. So tropical plants, obviously, you wouldn't do this to. But we actually had a consistent 32 degrees in this greenhouse all winter. And when are we going to be putting them outside?
Bonsai season is upon us right now, so I am at the shop frequently now, repotting whatever I can before it's too late. This is a trident maple, kind of an interesting shape right now on this one. Just getting it into a pot. The buds are ready. They're swelling. They're starting to unfurl, which is the exact right time that you want to do these repotting. Some other stuff I threw into pots today, which I know some people will say it was the wrong time of the year, but I just slip potted them with some junipers. We're going to have some simple little junipers like this. I threw a quick style on it. Something for a beginner, something cool, looks interesting, fun to have in your garden.
Well, let's show them this for a second. So if you look on the bottom here, if you look on the bottom of the pot, you can see the wire.
Oh yeah, I have to tighten it up still.
Coming underneath here, and it wraps around, and actually wraps around the tree, and it holds, so the tree is actually attached to the pot. And then it gets wired, this gets twisted and tightens.
Yeah, I didn't realize I didn't do this one, so I'll do this one right now.
And it'll hold that plant in place in the pot.
Very important to wire your trees to the pots. Squirrels, birds, all sorts of critters love to play around in bonsai pots. Even if you knock the pot, if the tree is not wired in, all the beautiful roots that you've been growing over the years are quickly destroyed. So there's no tree in my shop that is not wired into the pot, nor in my personal collection. First thing you do, you always figure out the best route to wiring it in. Just like this tree, as you can see, it's wired into the pot. If you grab it by the trunk, you're not going to pull it out of the pot and cause damage. Accidents happen, so I recommend wiring everything in.
So you can see Chris took a lot of care in doing the wiring here. So where the wire comes across the roots here,
I put a little piece of rubber fish tank tubing to not scar the surface of the trunk. So when you tighten down, you could really tighten down quick. A good amount of tightening on it, and it won't damage the actual tree itself and cut off supply to part of the tree.
And how often do you have to change that or alter
This
it? Or?
maple, after I pot it this year, will probably be okay in this pot for 2 seasons. Then you'd have to repot it again. The smaller the pot, the more repotting that is required. Certain trees can go longer. Pines and conifers can go 4 or 5 years without repotting. The soil kind of tells you if it needs a repot. If its water is flowing properly, the tree looks healthy, you're still okay. That being said, you do eventually have to repot everything to keep them healthy, or trees will not survive. It's especially this type of art and what you're doing here, confining the tree to this small space. You need to replenish the soil every few years, fertilize, make sure everything's okay, check the roots, trim the roots. I just finished trimming the roots on this one, if you guys would have seen. Yeah, question?
Can you tell us how old the tree is?
This tree is not exceptionally old. This tree is probably only 5 to 8 years old. I do have some trees that are exceptionally old, which we'll probably get into more at another episode. I could show you. I have some Japanese yews. It's probably 100 years old. And some of you say, oh, yeah. But I know where it came from. I know where it was grown. So I know it's at least 100 years old. Other trees look a lot older than they are. Like this tree kind of has a creepy look to it. It looks a little older. It's only 4 or 5 years old max.
So hold that tree for a second. So Chris, what's going on here?
Well, Sean, I'll tell you what's going on.
Well, thank you. You can see that he's wired it up. But there's also some interesting stuff going on over here.
I did a quick wiring on this just to give it some visual interest. I gotta trim that. Over here, what Sean is talking about is I created gin from branches that were not needed for the style of the tree. So instead of getting rid of the branch altogether, I stripped the bark off. While the branch is still soft, I've wired them. Sometimes you don't need to wire these, but I wired them up to a shape that kind of complemented the style of the tree. That's called a gin. That will set in that shape in a month or so. I will remove the wire on this, and I will use something called gin sulfur, which will make this bright white. Looks like a bleached out tree in the forest in nature. It gives some more visual interest to the tree. There's also something called shari, which you carve out part of the trunk. This tree does not exhibit that, but I do have other trees or things like that. A little touches like this make the tree look old, give it a more dynamic look. And that's all about that's what the art's about. You want to make things look interesting. This is not my greatest creation, but this is just something that we're going to have for people that are beginners, get started. It's a cool little tree to have on your bench. It's a good tree to learn on. This is a Procumbens nana. It's sparse right now in the foliage because I trimmed out a lot of junk that wasn't necessary. This will fill in. When the pads are created, I'll rewire it again to give it some more structure, so to say. More questions?
Do you submerge?
Never. No. That came from department store bonsai.
It's funny, Chris, 2 seconds. So
I'm going to keep
it's
potting.
funny that Chris mentioned this because I was actually just going to tell a quick story. I used to work for a company called Bonsai Designs when I was really young. It was in the Sunrise Mall, and I sold bonsai trees, and that's what we told all the customers. So when Chris and I started talking about this and watering the trees, I actually used to go to Chris's house and water them. Like, well, I have to dunk it, right? And Chris was like, what are you talking about? You don't dunk it. I was like, Chris, I work for a bonsai tree company, and we dunked all the trees. They gave us a piece of paper and said, you got to dunk it for like 10 minutes. And so now I find out that Chris looked at me like, dude, you don't do that at all. So what do you actually do?
There's reason. All right. Reason number one why you don't dunk a tree. By dunking the tree, you never know how porous the soil is, if the soil perks or not. By dunking it, you're just submerging the whole thing in, and it will absolutely get water into it. It's a bad habit to start. Um, you only dunk a tree when the tree is in distress. You would sit it in a bowl of water probably overnight. Like, let's say you miss the watering and the tree is really hurting. That is the only acceptable time, in my opinion, and a lot of guys that I know, to dunk. We call it a dunk a tree. You always water from the top. A bonsai tree, it's not like watering your normal potted petunias. You have to water it once or twice in that watering session. You hit the tree once, you get it wet, you watch the water flow through the pot, you come back to it, and you hit it again. The first watering cycle is just to get the nooks and crannies, to get water through it so it starts absorbing water into the soil substrate, which is usually akadama, pumice, and lava. The second watering is the actual watering that most likely the tree will take up. So you give it another hit of water, and then you're done. You don't just give it a quick sprinkle and walk away. By not dunking it and watering that way, I can see the roots, how impacted the roots are in the pot by how quick the water drains through the soil. By dunking it, you never get to see that. So you could have a tree that doesn't need a repot for another year because you're dunking it, but if you water it from the top and the water just rolls off the surface, the tree will most likely succumb to dehydration over time if you don't repot that tree or do like an emergency kind of a repot, which we can go over that in another lesson. But yeah, the dunking came from mall bonsai because if you think about it, in a mall, you can't walk around the store with a hose, but you can walk around with a bucket. So the trees got submerged, taken out. It's also bad because tree roots need oxygen. Just like we need oxygen, they need oxygen. If you keep mucking up the soil and filling it with water, you basically suffocate the tree as well. So bad practice. I know it's a lot of people come to me and they say that, and some people will argue with me that that's a good way to do it. I would never do that. I have trees that are tens of thousands of dollars here. You would never dunk that tree into a pot. It would be, all the Japanese masters would be turning over in their grave if they saw you doing that.
Interesting. One person's asking is the reason why a root rot, like, is it promoted?
It also causes, you're either overwatering the tree by doing that. Yeah, just turn the dial to the hotter setting. Nope, that one. That's the heater. Down. Heater. There. It could cause root rot because let's say goes back to you need to see how your soil perks. Let's say your soil is impacted and it's not draining properly. Now you soak the tree in a tub of water. You take it out. It's now can't escape the water. So is your question to root rot is yes, because now the water can't get out of the pot. It's impacted. The drain holes are clogged. You've now filled the pot with water. The tree is sitting in its own stagnant water. You'll suffocate the roots. You'll cause root rot or a fungal issue. And there you have it. You would have a dead tree. Again, by watering on the surface, you could see the water goes through the pot, how it drains. It's just the right way to do it.
So what is the right way to water?
I do with a very fine mist. You could use, for the average individual, you can use a hose attachment. Dram makes them very fine. You give it a nice mist. It soaks through. The hose is outside, but you're not gonna. You give it a quick mist. Let it soak through. Give it another quick mist. I could do a demo in a second. We have the hose set up outside. That's one of the Dram heads, just on a regular hose attachment. I have, for my own personal collection, there's these fantastic bonsai copper watering wands. They're really expensive. They're amazing. We're going to possibly carry them depending on how much. The average price is $200 for a watering wand.
Okay.
People tend to be like, oh, I will say, I've been doing this for quite a few years. It makes a huge difference. It doesn't wash the soil out of the pot. It's a nice gentle rain, you can call it. It's much happier for the plants. But the proper way is you give it a wave over, which I'll show you in a second, and let it soak in. Give it another wave through. Let that soak through. Then you're okay until the next day or 2 days, depending on how hot it is, how much water the trees are taking up. It depends on the time of the year. Right now, trees aren't taking up a lot of water. They're just waking up out of dormancy, so the soil will stay wet for a lot longer than in the summer. Same thing in the fall. They stop taking up as much water. So you don't have to water them as frequently. Watering is you never quite learn. Watering takes years to learn how to properly water. I'm still learning.
Before you go, Michael, I see. I know that we have a couple of different types of media that you're using.
Yeah, the substrate.
Or a substrate. Can you tell us about what you have here?
This is a deciduous tree. So my mix is heavy on akadama, and then it has pumice and lava as well for drainage. Akadama, these are all volcanic materials. They're considered inorganic, although akadama has some traces of organic in it. It's the best soil for bonsai. Dirt in a bonsai pot, again, promotes root rot. It's not the way to do it. They've been doing this in Japan for hundreds of years, and nobody uses dirt, soil, any of that stuff, and there's a reason for it. It just doesn't work. If you want fine roots, and the roots, you have to use the proper bonsai soil. And what was the question? There was a question earlier?
Yeah. Do they need to be brought in during the winter time? This particular person is in Georgia, but
I wish I was in Georgia. You have a nicer growing season than me. So it depends. Tropicals really should be brought in when the temperatures outside start to dip below 65, 60. Hardy plants such as conifers, maples, things like that, they don't need to be brought inside per se, but you want to shelter them in the winter. So you would either put them in a cold frame greenhouse, you would put them sheltered on the back of a house where the wind isn't going to get them and dry them out. You could mulch them in the ground. I don't love that way because you don't really see what's going on with the pot. You can crack pots with freezing, but you just need to really shelter trees that are hardy in your zone. If it's not for your zone, then you do have to, do a little more sheltering. Here, the greenhouse, I leave it set to 32. All I'm trying to do is I don't want them to freeze. So this winter, everything just overwintered at 32 degrees. And we were absolutely fine. Things are bursting. You should walk around with the camera there. Things are bursting with life right now. Everything did fantastic. So exactly what I wanted it to do. But don't be intimidated. A lot of people, you don't need a greenhouse for bonsai. You just need somewhere to keep them, a garage, a shed, perfectly acceptable. They don't need light in the winter, so you're fine. When they start waking up like this now, where the buds are starting to extend and get green, they'll need light soon, but they don't need it to the point where you need a full greenhouse for them. It helps, but you don't need it.
Chris, I noticed that the wire that's on here is a different wire that's on the percumbent over there.
Just different color.
So it's just different color. There's no difference in the wire?
It's either aluminum or copper wire. On lesser trees, you wind up using anodized aluminum wire. This is just a brown anodized. That's a black anodized. There's no difference in them. But copper, I don't have any copper handy. Copper is used mostly for deciduous. It holds much better. Smaller wire holds its shape better than the aluminum. You would have to use larger gauge. And it looks prettier. So on a high end tree, on a high end conifer, you would wire with copper. It's just the proper way. Maples and stuff, you don't leave the wire on long enough to warrant putting copper. Like this piece of wire I just put on to bend this branch down today. It's going to be taken off in like a month. As soon as this branch sets, when the tree pushes, I'll remove that wire. Whereas if it was a conifer, that would probably stay on for 6 months, a year, could be longer, depending on how old the tree is.
Interesting. You were talking about another tree you were going to show us, or you're going to show us how to water as well.
No, I could show you a bunch of stuff. I could show you a couple trees that are coming out of like dormancy, which are gives you an idea how beautiful some of this stuff can be. This was the tree. This is a Japanese yew. This tree has been being worked on for a long time right now. It needs a trim, which I will do. But you could see all the intricate carving. A gentleman named Will Badley has been working on this tree. He's going to be in this week and doing some more work on this tree. He is an expert on carving deadwood. The tree was styled by Mara Stemberger. This is my tree from my personal collection, so it's not for sale. So I love this tree, but this tree is probably about 100 years old. It was planted in front of this was a yamadori or yardadori collected from someone's backyard. The gentleman whose house the tree was planted in passed away, 98-year-old man. The house was his father's house. His father planted the tree in front of the house many years prior to that, so that's how I know the age of that tree. We have lots of other trees. This is a collected Engelmann spruce. This was collected in Colorado. That's a very old tree. We have some junipers that we're going to be restyling. Crab apples just waking up. Beautiful green, lush foliage will start. The flowers are fantastic on crab apples. One of my favorite maples is this Katsura. This is a very small one. This was an air layer off the parent tree, which is at my house. A little weed there. Katsura maples are amazing in the spring and in the fall. In the spring, it emerges with bright orange foliage. So in a couple weeks, when these completely unfurl and open, this tree will be bright orange for a few weeks in the spring. Looks amazing. We'll turn to a chartreuse green, and then we'll go to a reddish orange in the fall when they shed the leaves again. But I'm a big fan of Japanese maples. Just love the overall look. The color change is phenomenal. We have a lot of, this is an ume, an apricot, which is just finishing its flowering cycle. It has beautiful white flowers. Will possibly produce some fruits. I have a pink one right here, this was gorgeous, but you can only catch the remnants of the flowers right now. The cycle is already over on this one. Then we have some older maples. Higasayama maple, which is a fairly old tree. Have lots of other interesting stuff. I have small crab apples that are just coming out of dormancy, starting to pop leaves. Yes, sir.
Somebody on here says to take the bushes that we're taking out from the front to use them great for Yamadori.
Some of them can be. Some of that it's on a per specimen basis. Although every tree can be a bonsai, not every tree should be a bonsai, if that makes sense. Some of them, you spend so much time on these trees that some of them, if the subject matter itself isn't really interesting in the first place, you're kind of wasting time. There is a few trees on the property that we are going to make into bonsai. We'll probably do a whole video of that of us digging them up. They are spectacular. They're very old, and those we will do. But other things you don't really waste a lot of time doing that with. Like I said, every tree can be a bonsai, not every tree should be a bonsai, if that makes sense. And then I'll show you, we have some interesting stuff. Let me look for some fun stuff to show you guys. Get ahead of you here. I'll flip you around. This is another Bergman pine that will eventually I will style. We just got it into the pot. It's I think I'm going to go windswept with this tree. I haven't decided yet, but I haven't given it too much thought yet of what I'm going to do. Windswept would look, the whole tree would kind of be justified in this direction, like the wind is blowing it. You can't really, it was just put in a pot, so I won't style this to the fall. You don't want two insults at one time to a tree is a bad thing. The tree can't handle the stress. So you only do one insult at a time. You're either going to repot it or you're going to style it. That being said, there are exceptions, but we would go over that in like a one-on-one class kind of basis. We have lots of cool little pines that we potted up. So these aren't styled yet. These were just potted. Again, one insult at a time. Got them into pots this year. So in the fall, we'll do some bending, some wiring. This is a kind of an uncommon cinnamon bark white pine, cinnamon bark Japanese white pine. A friend of mine actually grows those. They're pretty interesting. We got a Scots pine that I just got into this little cascade pot. That'll fill in nicely in the spring. Let's see what else. No, cork barks are really expensive. I don't have any of those yet. I got a really kind of cool literati black pine that we styled recently. She's going to be a pretty tree in the spring. I did a lot of cutting back, waiting for it to back bud. Once it buds out again, we'll cut the buds and get it to fill in a little better. This is a pretty old tree, just from looking at the gnarly bark and everything.
Now, Chris just said, he's mentioning a lot of different terminology. Now,
A lot of stuff.
We don't expect you guys to understand this right now, but we are going to, and I hope Chris is willing to do, is to do a weekly live show.
Yeah, I can do that.
And we're going to do classes so that you guys understand everything that he's talking about.
There's an exposed root Japanese white pine that just went into a pot this year. Kind of a cool little guy. This will be a nice tree in 5-10 years when it grows in. So you're getting in on the ground level at a good price on these.
So I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
Can you give us an idea of what these will cost starting?
I can tell you on this tree, it's already a priority. I have a price. This tree would be $3.95 in the pot. Pines tend to be a little more expensive than maples, and it depends on the quality of the tree. As this tree progresses in its life cycle, right now let's say it's a $400 tree. In 2 years from now, it will be a $600 tree, and it keeps increasing as the tree progresses, gets more ramification, which is the amount of branching and how it looks. So and how hard it is to find a tree. Certain trees are very uncommon, not as easy to come across, so they would cost more. This is an older Mugo pine that has a very nice style on it. It happens to be in a very good Brian Saldano pot. This tree is $400. That's a nice old tree. You can see when I spin it around.
Chris, will you ship?
Yes, we will ship trees. A lot of people won't ship trees. I'll ship trees depending on. I can't ship giant trees. It's cost prohibitive. Stuff like this you could ship no problem, as long as it's rooted in. Like some of this stuff just got potted up, so I would have to wait a little while before I would be comfortable shipping it. But we could ship stuff really not without much of incident. Just see if I got anything else.
So
there's always the chance of leaf breakage or branch breakage and stuff like that, and that's you can't. We do our best to box it. Wire it into the box, do all that. But that being said, things do happen. You hope for the best. That's why the bigger the tree, the harder it is to ship. Smaller trees ship pretty nicely without any incident. And I'm trying to see what else we got that I could show you that's interesting here today.
now, Chris, is anything available for anyone to purchase while they're watching the show today?
Everything is available. If you want to look at it's all for sale, except for my tree, because that's my personal collection. This is a really nice tree. It's just starting to send its foliage back out, which is a Japanese larch. This is a pretty old tree. Again, in a good pot, Brian Saldano handmade pot. This is an old tree. This is a pretty cool tree. This one's $395 as well. Just because of the rarity, you don't see them that often. That being said, I'm picking out the trees that are expensive right now to show you because they happen to be. Just like anything else, an expensive car is a nice car compared to a Yugo. A Ferrari is a lot prettier looking, and Ferrari costs a lot more. Same thing. The better trees generally cost more. That being said, there's some trees outside that are cool looking. They're fairly inexpensive for beginners and starters to get going. So prices vary. If someone's looking for something in particular, you can let me know. Maybe I have it somewhere, or I can get it for you. It's come across that stuff. We have right here. This is a Japanese quince just starting to flower with these beautiful reddish pink flowers. This is an old tree. That's a very cool. These are Japanese quince as well. These are just going to start to flower too. I'm excited about these because I've had these for several years, and this is the first year they're flowering because they're finally at the point where they're mature enough to throw out flowers. So I was always told it was red. I just wasn't sure until this year. So now I know it is a red. It is a red one, which is pretty cool. We have like some little forest plantings. This is a hornbeam.
When you say a forest,
Little group. This one's actually more of a group. It's a 3-tree group, even though that has two. That's one tree just forked.
What makes a group between a forest and a group?
It's a group is only like 2 or 3 trees, or 3 trees. You feng shui. You don't do even numbers. It's usually odd numbers. We have, cool forest planting like this. This is a dawn redwood, in a very interesting pot. No, it's not wood. It's ceramic, custom made. That tree will look really cool once it's leafed out. A lot of fun stuff. There's going to be a lot of things. Which one? Yeah, it's starting to. That's a Stewardia. That's starting to just push everything right now. That's going to be a nice tree. Yeah, we got a lot of nice stuff. What is this here? I leave the ferns in there because in some trees it's an indicator of soil health and watering. Certain trees I don't let weeds or stuff grow. With that being said, it's not really a weed. I can't remember the name of that fern right now. I actually grow it on the side too to sell. But you could tell how wet or dry the tree is by the condition of the little plants growing on the bottom of it. This tree does not like a lot of moisture, so I leave the ferns in there because you could see as they start to wilt a little bit, that's kind of right at the point where the tree wants to be. So when they wilt too much, then I water the tree, and they perk up, and that's everything. That's how I gauge the watering on that tree.
Do you have any forests that you're growing at the moment?
So I got several. This is that's a dawn redwood forest. That's one. There's a bunch on the other side too. That's a pretty cool one. I like the pot that it's in and everything. Also, the pots make a big difference in the trees. The how you present the trees. A nicer pot makes your tree that might be mediocre look 100 times better because it's the presentation of everything.
But you mentioned someone, Brian Caldano, before.
Yes, he's another potter. I'm friends with a lot of potters that do custom pots. I have my favorite potters that do. I love their pots, and you can. Some pots are thousands of dollars. Some pots are $20. We have a big selection of pots too. I'm always getting new pots in. I generally buy the pots to sell that I like, which seems to be a pretty good way of going about it because everyone seems to. If everyone has their own taste, but it seems like what I'm picking, people seem to like because everyone comes in and they love the colors and the shapes that I've chosen. And that's just from years of doing this. You find more stuff. But I'll show you actually a couple of cool trees. You can stay on that side, and you leave the camera over. I'll show you what we have, which are very cool. We have some Japanese import stuff. So very uncommon. It's an exposed root firethorn. Pyracantha. Exposed root. I don't know what color the berries are yet. I'm hoping that they're not the standard orange. There's a potential to be yellow or red or something to that. We'll find out this year. This tree, it's in a good Japanese pot. This tree in particular is a $600 tree. You won't really find this anywhere else. If you go to the other websites and other places, you're not going to find one this mature that looks this nice in a nice presentation like this. So we were talking about prices earlier, like that dictates, the price as well.
I have a couple of questions for you.
Yeah, what do you got?
One person says, have you tried cannabis bonsai yet?
You can't really bonsai cannabis. They don't grow the proper way to. The nature of cannabis is you grow it, you cut it, it's gone. You can't really keep it going. It doesn't. It wouldn't perform properly.
Right.
You could do it. It just wouldn't really perform properly.
Somebody else is asking, do certain trees need certain pots?
The answer is, this is always an argument, that yes and no. I am of the mindset, if you like it, then it's your tree. That's what you should do. But there are certain rules you follow. Conifers are generally in unglazed pots, which means they're just brown, simple pots, is kind of the rule in Japan. And deciduous, which are maples, anything that loses its leaves, are in glazed pots. So those are unglazed pots. Like you can see, that's just an unglazed pot. Unglazed. Now, if you get over here, that's its own thing, because a larch is technically a conifer, but it does shed all its foliage. So you could put that kind of in either. But there's a glazed for a Chinese elm. It's just more, it accentuates the plant better. So for an example, here's a maple. This maple in particular turns fire engine red in the winter. The blue pot really accentuates the red leaves in the fall. This is also a very cool twisted Japanese maple. So you're trying to accentuate what's happening on the canopy with the color of the pot. Or you don't want to accentuate what's going on and you want it to be more of a muted thing, then you would use less bright colors. I'm a big fan of blue pots. You'll see there's a lot of blue pots around because blue pots, red foliage looks fantastic in the fall.
All right, so another question.
Yeah.
Do trees this size outgrow the pots, or do they stay in the same pot for a long time?
It depends on what you're trying to do. Certain trees I'll leave in pots to grow them out, and then I'll swap the pot to a bigger pot. But for example, the tree, my yew, it'll stay in that pot forever. I'll just you basically conform the tree to the pot that it's in. You trim the roots, you keep the tree in a way that it will stay in that pot. You could always step up a size, but it takes years for a tree that's that developed to grow. They don't grow as fast as they get older. You're stopping them from wild growth, so you can keep them in small pots for a very long time.
What was the price of the one that you were holding before?
Which one?
The twisted one.
Twisted one, I believe it was.
Or the blue one. Yeah,
This one, I believe, was $395. It's a nice twisty tree. That's an old tree too. Theoretically, that's a Japanese import too, according to where I got it from. I can't confirm it on that one. I also have another interesting maple that's twisting. It's more of a It's kind of going in the one that's a cool one too. But again, red foliage in the fall, put it in a blue pot, looks pretty cool.
Somebody's asking, do you have any dragon blood trees?
I don't. No, I can get them. Like a dragon fruit they want?
It says dragon blood trees.
The term dragon blood I'm not as familiar with, but there's a dragon fruit tree, which if that's what they're talking about, we can get them. I'll have to look into that now. Now I'm going to look in when we get off here. I want to see exactly what we're referring to there.
You can always text if there's something that you're interested in that we don't have. You can text a picture. Chris, can they send it? Can they text you, or you want to send it? To me?
Better off sending it to the email, and then I don't really send it to the email of the company, and you just send it to me, and then we'll.
All right, you can send it. You can send it to. You can text it to me because you can always text me 516-547-0164. There's something you're interested in here. You can always go back on the show and take a picture of it and let us know. You can also email me at sales@coinmarket.com.
Right, 2 questions. That's bamboo.
It's a dwarf bamboo, yes.
And are there standards for sizing trees?
There's terms for the sizes of trees. Mame, Shohin. If you look, the sizes are dictated. Each class of tree. Mame being the smallest, Shohin the next size up. The other names now are escaping me. The next size is up, but yeah, it's kind of like a size class. Mame being one of the most popular. They're easily dealt with. They're not too big. They're not too small. A lot of this stuff is kind of Shohin size. And then we obviously have bigger trees, like clearly that the yew that I showed you earlier is not a small tree. We have some giant trees that I don't even know what the term, I can't think. I'd have to look back at the thing I know stuff, but I don't know everything. I forget things. But we're going to have a decent variety of things. Lots of stuff. A lot of maples I happen to have because I like maples. We're going to have a lot of pines, junipers. Like I said, everybody should enjoy bonsai, and it shouldn't be cost prohibitive. So we're not just selling the high-end stuff. You just can't. Like even the basic stuff is a lot of fun. You can do a lot more with it without worrying. Like you can cut a branch off on a less expensive tree and not worry about it. So I want everyone to enjoy bonsai. It should be for everybody.
Can you talk about this tree right here?
This is a phoenix graft that I'm doing. So this is a piece of wood from it's actually off of a yew, this piece of wood. But I had this interesting looking juniper whip. So I am grafting the whip to an old piece of wood where you could see you carve out a section in the tree. I'll pin the juniper into it. It will eventually grow in and adhere, or by pressure it will adhere to this wood, and it will look like one tree. It's not styled. It's just puffy right now because I really need it to grow out and fuse itself to the wood. And this half-ass thing is just because I stuck it, someone knocked it over, so I'm just trying to keep it from. That's not considered good wiring. That's just keeping it from falling out.
Point that one out.
No, that's okay. But that's an interesting. Those are fun. You could do a lot of fun things with that.
What's a whip?
A whip is just a long. I don't have any right now. It's basically mostly trunk, and it's about 5-6 inches long, and then some foliage on top. So when I first stuck this in here, it only had a little bit of foliage, and now it's filling itself in. Because the trunk, you just want to fuse it to this piece of material. And then when this is done, I'll whiten this. It'll be bleached. We'll style it. We'll give it a wiring. It'll look like an ancient tree.
Cool. Now, I'm not sure if you mentioned any, but you have some.
I have some
couple trees
root
that
over
are
rocks.
on stone. I know there's one over here.
Yeah, I got some interesting ones that we're growing. This is a trident maple growing on a stone. That's like Texas feather rock, or Texas something kind of rock.
What do you call that? Where it's growing?
Root over rock. So that's like a root over rock tree. We have some bigger ones, but they're really not much to look at right now. The stone is wrapped up until I start to unfurl them for the spring. I like to experiment with things. It's fun. I enjoy this. It's a hobby. It's an art. Everyone should be comfortable with experimenting with things to see what works and what doesn't. That's what I recommend. You could even go to Home Depot, buy some stuff, and play around with it and see how it works out. It's a good idea to get accustomed to the trees, and then you learn the fine details along the way.
So there is a right and wrong, but
there's a right and wrong. There's rules to be followed, but in the beginning, I'm not a stickler for that because it scares a lot of people away. I like people to have fun with things, do things, and then as you want to progress and you want your trees to be more show quality trees, you certainly have to follow certain rules. There's things that have to be done at certain times of the year. There's certain things that you can and can't do, but you could worry about that later. First, enjoy the tree, have fun with it, see what you can do with it. Like I have some so over here, it's a hydrangea. It's a climbing hydrangea. I'm making a bonsai out of it. It's not a common thing to make a bonsai out of, but I dug it up out of the ground. I said, you know what? Let me make a little tree out of it. Let's see what happens. It's actually coming along fairly nicely. In the spring, when it leaves out, I'll show you. It's a cool thing, but that's technically, if you talk to bonsai, that's not really like something that they would spend time on. But I enjoy it. So if I enjoy it and you enjoy something you're doing, you should do it.
I don't know if you call them bonsai masters, but there are a lot of people that you've referred to in the past, and we've discussed this. That you have the gentleman that came and styled
Bob Mailer, a good personal friend of mine, amazing bonsai artist. He's been here several times. I'm going to have.
Style?
There's no such. Bob is. Some guys have certain styles, and some guys are just all-around good stylists. Bob is a really good stylist. He has many styles, where there's other guys like Mauro Stemberger, who is amazing, who has a very angry, masculine style when he styles his trees. Some other guys, like Bjorn, is a more of a feminine style, delicate. It depends. Todd Schlafer has a more delicate style. It depends on who the artist is, what you're going to get out of them.
And when you say style, are they following an existing? Is this their own style, or they're staying within the rules of?
Yeah, you're getting into two different things. Style and rules are two different things.
Explain.
Rules are what you should and shouldn't do. Style is like if an artist decides to use red paint or blue paint. That's his own personal preference.
Gotcha.
If he's following the rules, how to put the paint on the canvas, he's followed the rules, but his style is different than the other guy.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
Do they need seasons, or can they grow indoor?
Some can grow indoor all year round. We will have a whole tropical selection. It's too cold right now to have the tropicals out, but we will have tropicals which can grow inside all year long.
But these cannot. These
cannot. Everything you've seen in here are all zone hardy trees, not tropical. But we'll have in the spring when more stuff. We'll do some stuff with some ficuses, even porchalafra, jades, and stuff like that. They make great bonsai. If you have a nice window with a good exposure, you could do amazing things. And like I said, I don't want anyone to be intimidated because some guy came in here recently and looked at the tree and said, "Oh, I could never do that." Well, that's not the point. The point is, so you might not be able to do that, but maybe you could do something that's even cooler that you like, and that's what you should do. So I'm just here to help you along, and to an extent, I do this because I love this. So I'm doing things that I enjoy, I like, and I hope other people do too.
You mentioned this whole bonsai piece has turned into a really, really interesting conversation, and I want to continue. But you had mentioned Bjorn. Bjorn and
Mauro Stemberger.
Mauro. I know Mauro had worked on your Scott's
Pond. And Mauro worked on this tree.
A couple of pieces in here. So the cool thing is that you may actually have some of these guys here.
We will have people here. It's important to you always want other people's input, and certain things I can't do as well as someone else. Like Will Badley is one of the elite carvers. I can't do what he does. He makes wood look amazing. He makes it look like it's 10,000 years old. I can't do that. So I'll have him in, and he'll do some carving for me. We can do classes. People can learn from him. I learn from people like that all the time, and that's the point of this all. You're always learning. You never know everything. I certainly don't even know a fraction of what you just always learning. Just like I said, I'm always learning how to water. Watering is one of the hardest things in bonsai. To water a plant right, you can kill a plant by watering it too much. You can kill a plant by watering it too little. You can kill a plant by not watering it enough. You have to figure out what each plant needs, how to water it, and I'm always learning. And I'll probably be learning that until the day I die. It's an ongoing theme with people. Being talked to them. Watering is one of the hardest things. But Sean talks about rules and stuff. There's definitely rules with things you do at certain times of the year. Things with branch placement, front, back branch, first branch, second branch. There's things like that. But you get into that later on when you're more into the styling and getting everything done. Yeah.
What I'm assuming right to Will and Batley.
Yes.
What does he carve?
It's easier if you come over here and you do a close-up of the wood on this tree. So Will Badley is an amazing carver. He's an English fella. This is a really old yew. It's a Taxus. This is a Japanese yew. This tree was a massive trunk that came off of it and went this way. Will has started carving on this last year and has created all of this from a straight trunk. This was not here. This was a straight trunk. Will has carved it, etched it, done some amazing stuff that this looks like it's a couple hundred years old. This was done last year with a Dremel, a couple chisels, some carving, and he's created an amazing look. Same thing down here. He's hollowed this out. He's created areas of interest. He's going to come back in this year and finish everything else in here. We're going to get some more structure and lines to it to give it some more visual interest. That's an example of carving.
It's hard to see, but almost every branch on there is wired up.
Yeah, every branch on this tree has wire. I'm looking forward to the next stage for this tree as to where he goes with the carving. This is one of my personal favorite trees that I own. Love it and look forward to having this tree for many years to come. But hopefully he'll get it finished this year if he can. That's very time consuming. It's probably 2 days worth of carving he has to do on this tree. If that explains. And here's an example, like I was talking earlier, I think about shari. So here's a crab apple. It has some deadwood feature on the side of it. It adds visual interest to the tree. This is the live vein. This part of the tree is still alive, but this is never coming back. So you accentuate it. You hit it with some gin sulfur. You can clean it up. I might do some carving in there to give it some more style. But it's always, you're trying to mimic things that happen in nature. So like a lightning strike, you could say, or the part of the tree died. You want it to look really old.
Now, are there certain trees that could be have the deadwood on it, and some that can't?
Yes and no. Sometimes just by accident you get deadwood on a tree you wouldn't necessarily want deadwood on. A crab apple is not necessarily a tree that you would want the deadwood on. You have to stay up on top of it because the wood is soft. Pines, yews are exceptionally hard. Trees that have hard wood, the deadwood could last for hundreds of years. It'd be totally fine. So you have to. It's required.
So it was just another question saying, how do you keep the driftwood from rotting in the gravel? So is that?
It's you generally. That would be. I can give you a quick synopsis, but it would be actually like a class kind of thing where I could sit down and show people. It's there's stuff called wood hardener. Minwax makes it. A gin sulfur. It's all these things that we do to the wood. So this wood is a whiter in color, like you could see, because it was hit with lime sulfur. Or I say gin sulfur. It's lime sulfur, which bleaches the wood and kind of preserves it. It keeps insects from eating it. You tend to try to keep the deadwood off the substrate. So there's actually a space under all this where it's not actually sitting on top of the soil, because that will eventually rot it out. Eventually things rot out. Bonsai is an always evolving process. The trees are always changing. So when something rots out, you kind of recarve and you go somewhere else with it.
Another customer says, I know it's getting nearly impossible to find, but do you find any natural bonsai in the U.S.?
Yeah, Yamadori. The answer is yes and no. It's very hard because we don't have the areas where things grow like in Spain or in Italy or places like that. In Colorado, This came from Colorado. This is a Yamadori collected Engelmann spruce. So they're there. They're very hard to find. They're not pitch pine. We have a lot of pitch pine out here. You could find some decent pitch pine. I wish that I can go into the woods, and everyone has the dream of like going and finding amazing trees. It's not as common as I would like it to be. You could find stuff here and there. I consider myself grateful that I found this yew. This is a really old tree. It's fantastic. That's a collected tree. But it's hard. It's a hard thing to do. It's like sometimes you get lucky. You go to a Home Depot too, and you could find some okay stuff that you can work on. But it's kind of hard. You have to keep your eyes open all the time.
And you define Yamadori as
It's a collected tree. Yamadori is a collected tree from nature. Yeah. Yardadori is something you dig up from someone's backyard, and Home Depot adori is something you buy at the local nursery, and you've made it into a bonsai. Which there's a lot of that. I've seen some beautiful trees like that. It's not anything I'm not frowning on it. There's some wonderful stuff that can be made from nursery stock. You just have to find the right stuff and understand what you're looking for in the tree to make it into a bonsai. And I said it earlier, I'll say it again. Every tree can be a bonsai. Not every tree should be a bonsai. That's the most powerful thing I could tell you. Because some trees, like you could spend years playing around with it, it'll never amount to anything. If you enjoy doing it, keep doing it. That's fine if you're doing it for that reason. But if you're trying to get it to the next level, it's just never going to get there. Any more questions? All right. Hopefully this was informative.
Everyone would say thank you.
Yeah. No, I love talking. I'm a talker. Drives my wife crazy, but I like talking, and especially I love bonsai and the art of bonsai. And I'm really lucky at this point in my life to have a lot of friends who are at the next level above me or 10 levels above me who take their time to teach me. I'm always learning. I always want to learn more. I love nature and plants, and this was like just a natural progression of what I love. And I hope that I could pass that on to other people, because to be honest, it's a very relaxing hobby. It keeps me grounded. It's great. I love playing with my little trees and seeing people's reactions when they come into the greenhouse. And I hope that you guys can experience that and have that as well in your own gardens. So next week we'll have another walkthrough. I'll be doing some more stuff. I might be doing some wiring. We can discuss that. And if anyone thinks of any questions, next week we can go over that as well. Pleasure, everybody. No problem. I forgot that was even there.
You want to talk about the watering at all? Or?
Oh, yeah, you want to do it?
We'll do that really quick.
We'll do the quick watering. I'll show you what I was talking about. For repotting up the junipers, but I didn't do any root work. They were slip potted. They were in these terrible little plastic pots. I slip potted them into clay pots, so that's okay. I'm not going to damage anything. The pines are already pushing, so they needed to be repotted. So those got done today. There's a boxwood that was in a broken pot. I slip potted it into another pot. But everyone was asking about watering. So watering, you do never want to take a hose and go right onto a tree like this. This is a bad thing. You kind of want to indirect water. So my favorite way of doing it is I get the hose on a nice soft fan. I do a first pass. I watch how the water is going into the pot. I don't want to wash the soil out of the pot. I hit everything. I get it nice and wet. And then I wait a second till it soaks through. And then I'll come back and I'll hit it again a little longer to see how much water the pot will take. As you can see, this soil drains extremely fast. So I'm watching it fill up on the surface. It goes right through. And maybe you can get the camera, maybe you can see that. You'll see it start to pool in the corner, and then as soon as I watch, it'll drain out really quick. That's what you want. You want soil that drains fast. You don't want water to stagnate in the bottom of the pot. You also know that it's draining fast, that it's a nice open root structure, which is very healthy for the tree. If the water pooled on the surface and didn't drain, it's time for a repot. That's a good way to know when you have to do that stuff.
I don't know if you put the table on an angle on purpose, but it actually worked in your.
Oh, I didn't even know. I think it's sunk in.
I'm actually watching all the water draining from the pot going this way out. So
oh, are you?
There, you can see like waves of water
Yeah.
coming out.
But like here's some fun little trees. Like so, these are beginner bonsai. These are Pacumben's nanas. Again, I did some deadwood. I have to wire this. I cut out a lot of stuff. I just didn't like the overall look of the tree. I'm trying to get it back into a nice, healthy tree again. But it's an interesting composition. Not an expensive tree. Not crazy. I have to figure out what we're going to do and stuff like that. This nice exposed root pine that was wired up. That's a very cool tree. Not so common. So, I'm trying to, we're going to have bonsai for every level. And then I got a whole bunch of more nanas that will wire these up for beginner level trees. Some Shimpaku junipers make fantastic bonsai. These are actually a little smaller than I thought when I ordered them, so I'm going to grow these out a little bit and then make bigger trees next year. But, I'm looking for bonsai for every level. So everyone comes here that no one's intimidated, that someone could find something that they like.
Cool.
That's the goal.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you. I'm going to grab
Thanks,
this.
everybody. I hope that answered the watering question to kind of see what I was doing. You never just water direct. You wash all the soil out bad.
So I think we can all agree that Chris is a natural on camera. He's definitely a bit of a character, and I think you'll see that the more you watch him on camera. We're going to be doing, as I was saying before, we're going to be doing a lot of things here with bonsai. I'm looking forward to getting the trees out into the bonsai area up front and on the display. That's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks, so we're excited to make that happen. As Chris mentioned, we're going to be doing tropical, and we're deciding on where we're going to put the tropicals. They may be fine in here, or we're also going to be having... So the name of the company is LI Bonsai Supply, or and Supply. LI Bonsai Supply. LI Bonsai Supply.
The artwork's not done yet, so it might say Long Island Bonsai and Supply or Long Island Bonsai Supply.
The logo's almost done.
Almost done. It's going to be a very cool logo. We'll have shirts available, which I think people will really like the shirts. As Sean's logos are always amazing. His guy did our logo for this company. The logo's amazing. So super excited about that.
I was able to get my logo guy to come out of retirement to work on one last logo, which is the LI Bonsai and Supply.
I'm super excited about it. It's really cool. It complements the Koi Market logo. They're kind of similar in the feel, so I think it's going to be really cool.
So one day we'll actually have shirts made for both.
Yes.
Yeah.
Swag.
Yes. What were you going to say?
I have like both.
Yeah.
You could do that. That would be cool.
Yeah, we could. A partnership.
Koi in the front, bonsai in the rear.
So a lot of things happening. So we're going to be doing bonsai classes. You know what? Let's talk about this really quick. So I've just like the words, Jinrin and Ginrin. Is it bonsai, bonsai?
I've been corrected so many times I can't actually tell you, but I've heard it pronounced bonsai or bonsai. Everyone in America calls it bonsai. So
all right, we'll stick with that.
Bonsai.
We'll stick with that.
Like Buckaroo.
Yes. One of the best movies ever made, Buckaroo Banzai, which many of you guys have probably not seen it, but let me hear a shout if anyone's actually seen it. It's a great movie.
By the way, here's cool stuff that I like to make too. Slabs for planting on. It's a slate slab. This one has a natural cup like a bowl. So I drilled out some holes in it, and we're going to be mounting some cool little trees onto it so it looks like a real natural occurring event. I like to do stuff like that too. That's why bonsai's fun. You can do all sorts of stuff. Like I found this stone in my neighbor's garden. I dug it up. I was like, I'm going to make that into a bonsai planter. It's fun stuff like that you can do with this hobby.
So it doesn't have to be a pot. It can actually, you can grow it on that, and I guess as long as it's being watered properly.
That's a whole other thing to show you guys how to put stuff on a slab, but it's a fun thing. It's really rewarding.
A class for another day.
Class for another day.
Yeah. So classes, yes, we are going to be doing classes. Chris and I are going to work on that. We're going to do, like what do you call the night painting classes? We're going to do.
We're going to do either beer and bonsai at night or bagels and bonsai in the morning, where you come out. We do like a little impromptu class where people come in of all levels of experience, and we play around. We talk about trees. We'll style some stuff, maybe we repot some stuff right now because that's the season for it, and get everyone excited about the art of bonsai.
I love it. Very cool. And we'll be posting that stuff on the websites, and that'll happen soon.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Chris, thank you.
All. I'm back to my work.
Talk later. All right, so that was really, really enlightening. I definitely learned a lot, and I hope you guys did too. If you have any questions about bonsai, if you want to speak to Chris,
Show me the fish already.
if you want to speak to Chris, I can definitely set that up. Just send me a text, 516-547-0164, or email me at sales@coremarket.com. What else?
And there's no stupid questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question. If you have a question, it's valid. And ask it.
Stupid questions, only dumb answers.
Or there could be, I don't even know it's dumb answers. There's dumb people who don't want to answer. It's not. This is a hobby that everyone should enjoy, and it should always be okay to ask it and get a good answer in return.
There's no stupid questions.
Yeah.
Bottom line. So, if you want, you guys know you can always go back on the video, on the live stream, at any time. Take screenshots of something that you're interested in and you can ask questions. Chris is happy to answer any questions that you have. You can text me or email me, and let's move on. So the question I have for you is, we have about 2 weeks or so left on the quarantine. We're going to be doing our gill snips next week and sending them into the lab. But do you guys want to go see? You guys want to see the fish that are coming out of quarantine before we go? I mean, right now it's about 1 o'clock. All right, so we've been at it for a couple of hours. I don't want to. If you guys have somewhere to go, then thank you for staying with us. But if you want, we can go and take a look at the stuff that's in quarantine, and you can see what's coming soon. And then we can go and we can bring out some fish for you guys to take a look at. Let me know what you want. If I don't hear from you in 5 seconds, I'm just going to go and pick something. So, no comments? All right, I'm taking it into the quarantine. And while I'm doing that, this whole section, and I have a plan for this section here. This is where all our aquatic plants will be. Okay, so aquatic plants will be coming in the next month or so. We have a lot of stuff coming in. We are going to be covering this. I haven't even talked to Michael about this yet, but I have some greenhouse hoops that we're going to put over this area, and we're going to put some shade cloth. Thank you, Michael. We're going to put some shade cloth over it, just so they don't get burned out. In the summertime, I'm freezing right now. In the summertime, it gets so hot right here. It gets crazy hot right here. So all the plants will actually get burned out. So we want to make sure that they're covered. We'll put the shade cloth over it, and it will be great. Come on this way. How many people we have on? 30 people. All right, I'm going to grab a little bit of food. We have our Blackwater growth food here. You guys know I'm a big fan of Blackwater food. We use it all the time, and I'm pretty excited to say that, and we'll talk about raffles. Remind me to talk about raffles today. Or I can talk about it right now. Want to talk about it right now? All right. So my glasses are all foggy. You got to give that a second. Well, we have our monthly raffle that's going to be coming up in the next few weeks. We are doing a gorgeous Nisai Platinum from Yamacho Koi Farm. Really, really nice looking fish, so I'm excited about that. So we have a couple of cool things. As we've been doing these raffles, I realized that just doing the fish was not enough. So we started adding some other things to the raffles, and I've actually been able to secure some pretty cool stuff. So we're going to be raffling off. I've called a bunch of companies, and we're trying to do a recurring thing with these companies where they'll actually give us stuff to raffle off every month during the shows. So we have more stuff for you guys to win. So it's not just about winning a fish. There's going to be other things. So we will be doing something with Blackwater, and we're going to be doing something with Easy Pro. We're going to be doing something with Deepwater Innovations, and I believe we're going to be doing something with GC Tech. These are a few of the companies that we'll be able to get some things from, and we'll raffle off during the show. So that should be pretty cool. And I don't know what the date is. We have to pick a final date. I mean, this is the March raffle. We'll probably go into like the first week of April with this one. Is what it's looking like. just because there's so much stuff going on right now. So I just want to make sure there's enough time for the raffle for everyone to get their raffles. If you want to do the raffle, we have a whole bunch of options for buying tickets. It's at coinmarket.com. There's a button at the top called raffle. So you just look at the top of the menu, click on raffle, and it'll show you all the options for the raffle. Any questions about the raffle, let me know. All right, let's go and see some fish. So, hi, how are you?
They aren't open yet, right?
We are open. Gabe can actually help you.
I'm actually just looking for a nice pond skimmer net to clean up my pond.
I have nets coming in.
Coming in.
Yeah.
How long should you?
Maybe next week.
Okay.
Maybe next week.
Okay. And then you have all the fish ready?
I do. Gabe, can you give them a quick tour of all the koi houses and everything? My name's Sean.
How you doing, Sean? Lou.
Good to see you.
Good to meet you.
Gabe's just going to give them a quick tour. We're going to show you some fish. Let's see if some of these guys come up. So in here, you guys have been asking for platinums. I was able to secure some awesome platinums from Yamacho, as well as Tadashita. Tadashita is the best of what was available. Shuru Tsuri also from Yamacho. Let's see, these guys may not come up. They are a bit skittish. Alrighty. Alright, so, well, maybe they'll come up. Maybe they won't. There they are. My comments stopped working? Well, that's not good. So the comments are coming up on your phone, but not on mine? That's bizarre. Well, that's not good. So Michael can actually see we're having an issue with the comments. So we have any questions? We will have all the shirts made at the same time. We're waiting to get the logo done for LI Bonsai, and my friend Michael Adrian had hooked me up with his son, who does a lot of this, and we're going to be calling him maybe this week to start discussing what we're going to do with our merchandise. You know, it's come up once or twice in the past. All I can say is maybe if we don't do it, which is really not our area, we can certainly point you to a company that does it. So what you're seeing here, these are Tadashita Shuru, so really high quality Shuru, and you also see platinums and Ginrin platinums from Yamacho. Over here, all right. This still not working?
Still stopped working.
Interesting.
Deborah said raffle off Suzuki for it.
Raffle off Suzuki. So I would do that for the next raffle. Huh? Sure. So what you're seeing in here, some absolutely gorgeous, high quality Asagi and Shusui. We also have Yamabuki and Ginrin Yamabuki. Now Ginrin Yamabuki, I know you guys haven't seen. There's very, very rare to see Ginrin Yamabuki. I was able to secure some, and I'm actually going to hold a couple for myself. I want to grow them out and see what they turn out like. We also have Hiyutsuri in here from Kano, some really high quality Hiyutsuri, and I have Budo Goromo in here. I wish there were Ginrin Budo Goromo, but still Budo Goromo, big fan. Big fan. Really, really nice. So when you're looking for Asagi, you're looking for that nice reticulated scale. You don't want it to be like a muddled scale where all the scales are kind of muddled together. Each one is individual, and you can see on these Asagi that they're individually scaled. So I'm pretty excited to see how these guys turn out. There are a couple of Ginrin Asagi in here as well. Very cool. Can I give these guys? So what you're seeing in here, we have Poncho from Isa. I have Ginrin Goromo, Ginrin Matsu Kawabaki, and we also have Tancho and Ginrin Tancho from Saito. And Kujaku as well. So when you're looking at Shusui and Asagi, Shusui is a Deutsch Asagi. If you see early on that you can see the reticulation in the scales, it's definitely a good starting point. You know, these fish are going to change a lot over time, but it's definitely a good starting point to have those individual scales, you know, early on. Because I've seen plenty that you think it's good, but you see a couple of scales or these scales are kind of muddled together. And they kind of form bigger scales, and it just looks a bit dirtier. But when you're seeing each scale individually, it's just, you know that it's definitely on its way to, has better potential. We do have a couple of fish in here that are sold. Some gorgeous Showa from Kase, or Kase Tosai. That's all these little guys in here. And then these bigger Nisai, what you're seeing is, those are from Aoki. And then I have some larger Showa from Maruse. Guys, if you see anything during the show that you like, obviously take a screenshot of it and let me know. I'll let you know what the prices are. But this is all stuff that's going to be available in the next couple of weeks. Still not working. So for some reason, the comments on my phone are not working. I don't know why. Michael's actually using his phone to view comments while doing the live stream with my phone. Very odd. Not sure what's going on there. We have 42 people on. Very strange. I don't know why, but you can see comments there. Jay-Z? Hey, Jay-Z. How are you? Can you grab me some more food, please? Here we have fish from Fukusawa. So we have Tosai and Nisai, and there's a huge breadth of different koi types in here. We have Goromo, Budo Goromo. I see Deutsch Goromo in here. Shusui, Ginrin Shiroutsuri, Yamabuki, Goshiki, Showa, Sante, Lemon Harawaki, Beni Kikakiryu. Some absolutely gorgeous. Yamabuki is a gorgeous fish in here. We have Kimatsuba in here. Kikakiryu. I see some Kinki Usuri in here. Pancho Sanke. That's enough. Ochiba, Kohaku, Some very nice goshiki. Gimmer no Chiba. If you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know. Can you check the gate, Gabe? Can you check the gate? Please. See Deutsch Platinum. Hi guys. Everything here is from Tanaka. All right. Okay, so the phone got a little bit wet. So we have a bunch of things in here from Tanaka. We have our Kinshowa. So we have Kinshowa Tosai. Calm down, guys. So these are all Kinshowa in here. Kinshowa. Really, really nice. Excited about the Kinshowa. We have Lemon Harawaki. Both Deutz and Wagoi. So Deutz scaleless and scaled. We have Gosanke. So we have Showa Kohaku and Sanke. As well as I see a Ginrin Kohaku. I believe I saw a couple of Ginrin Sanke in here. We have what we call Shoshiki. And this is a new type. And this is coming from Tanaka. This is a mix of a Shisui and a Goshiki. And you can see I have both Hosai and Nisai of those in here. There's a small one over there. There's one right there. Really cool. You can see the Benny is really starting to come out on them. So it's more like a Deutsch Goshiki. So they're pretty neat. Some of them look a bit more like Shisui. I also see some scaled, some Wagoi versions of those.
What are the prices on the Deutsch Corona?
On the what?
Deutsch Corona.
Oh, in here? So the question was, what is the price on the Deutsch Goromo? And I believe I have one or two of them as Nisai. So the guys that are in here, I have to get you pricing. I will get back to you. Can you take a screenshot of the name? Oh, it's Joe. Joe, I will get back to you on pricing on that. And then we have from Shinoda. Then we have Kujaku, Hiyutsuri, Deutsch Showa, Benigoi. There are a lot of Hiyutsuri. So guys, if you want Hiyutsuri, I have plenty. I think we're going to do a big koi sale coming up soon. We have Ginrin Showa, Kujaku. What's up, Joe? So glad you got your shipment in. Saw your post last night. Thank you very much. I'm glad everything came in safe and sound. You got some really nice fish. All right, so let's go and do some fish. You ready? Let's do it. We're going to go over to the other koi house. All right, so let's turning into a really nice day. So when we started the show, it was like 42 to 44 degrees. It's now 48 degrees, and it's going to go up to 52. So it's definitely warmed up a bit. Any questions? I feel bad. Michael is operating two cameras, two phones right now, trying to do our messaging because the messages are not going through on my phone for some reason. And that still hasn't changed, I guess. Gabe is helping some customers, or not. Nope, he's not helping customers. But he's going to go check and see if someone just came in. We have doorbells all over the property. So whenever someone goes through the gate, it goes off and we know someone's here so that we can come and help them. Because the property is pretty big. It's 1 acre. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do some Suzuki first. We'll do Suzuki. Do you want this over here?
I'll adjust that.
Okay. All right. So we're just trying to give you the best picture possible, trying to get rid of any reflections. So, what? Did I do something? So I thought I would dive into some of my grow outs today. Give you guys some pics on that stuff. See if there's anything interesting here for you guys. Let's grab a couple of uniques. You know what? I mean, if it looks unique to me, if it's something that's interesting, I just put it in my grow out to try and get a little bit more out of it. So I'm going to grab a couple of fish here. Let's see what we can find. Okay. Ginran Saragoi is a nice Ginran Chagoi. The unique Benny Kiko. There's another unique Benny Kiko. Ginran Matsu Kawabaki. Just grabbing a couple of interesting fish here. I do have a couple of Suzuki I put aside for myself. Okay. Give me a couple more seconds, guys. Just looking for a couple of uniques for you. These will be individually priced, so they will not all have the same price on them. Okay. I'm going to put these in and I'll grab a couple more, but I'll put these in first so you can not be looking at an empty bowl. We have a couple of fish we have to move today, Michael, after the show. Grabbing a couple more. I think I am ready to go. Let's start with these. If you see something you're interested in the bowl, let me know. It's pretty warm in here. Give you a second to see everything in here. So these were from my grow out, guys. Some really nice specimens in here. So the first one I'm going to do is this really unique Benny Kiko here. Looks like a tiger. Check that out. Deutz, Benny Kiko, motor groove and the pectoral fins. Actually, one fin is red and one is black.
That's from Suzuki.
This is Suzuki, right? Yeah. What do you guys think of this fish? Yeah. Yeah, this fish is going for 500. This is going to be a unique fish, guys. Well, it is a unique fish. This is going to be a really nice fish in your ponds. It's like a tiger. It's like a Deutz Hiyutsuri. Any questions? So you can't see the comments though, right? So not being able to see comments is definitely a bit of a pain in the butt. Michael's using his phone to see comments. I wasn't actually going to sell this fish. This is one of my personal fish, but I figured, we need to make some room, and so I would ask. Completely understand. It's a lot of money to spend on a small fish, but it is a special fish, and therefore it does have a high price on it. So if you guys are interested, let me know. This one's going for 500. Any takers going once? Can you open that? Let's open the door here. It's too hot in here while we're working in here. It's not going to cool the water down, so just prop it open with something. Any takers going twice? All right, I'm moving on. Okay, we have nice, unique lemon Harawaki here. Going for 150. Really nice, symmetrical scalation down the spine. Nice key yellow. Going for 150. We have any takers? It's from Aoki. How many people we have on?
44.
44 people. So is there a lot of comments and we just can't see them?
You're not getting anything. Stop.
Yeah. Any takers going once? Nice lemon Harawaki, black scalation down the spine from Aoki. Going for 150. Lemon Harawaki. This is from Aoki Koi Farm. Going for 150. Very nice fish. Will definitely be a standout fish in the ponds. Going twice. Hate to see this not go to someone special.
Bill Coughlin says, I just got a few of these and the quality is amazing.
Thank you, Joe.
Definitely did get a lot.
You did get some, yes. So it's really interesting. We have a lot of fish on hold that are in boarding, and we document with photos every single one of these. So when the fish get shipped, we have to spend time finding, identifying these fish, and a lot of these fish look similar. So you have to go and find that one scale that may be a little bit different. That's exactly that customer's fish. So it's a process, and Michael and Jameson do this most of the time. And I actually got to do it with Michael yesterday, and it was definitely challenging. It was definitely challenging. That question comes up all the time. How do you document all the fish that are sold? All right, we're going to move on because no one's jumping on this gorgeous lemon harawaki from Aoki. All right. I am going to go Ginrin Saragoi. Marahiro. Big fan of Ginrin Saragoi. It's very hard to get Ginrin Saragoi. This one has a little bit of brown on its pectorals. Actually, all of his finish has brown on it. Pretty cool fish. You could consider this an Ochiba, Ginrin Ochiba. This is going for $200. Nice size. Very rare to get a Ginrin Saragoi. Like I said, it's a Ginrin Saragoi Ochiba. Ginrin Ochiba. Any takers? Going for $200.
Bill Coughlin says, for reference, I got 35 fish yesterday, but I started purchasing in late October, and not one of them was mixed up. So you definitely have your shit together.
Oh, thank you, Joe. You know what? It was all Michael. If any takers on this Saragoi? Be very cool having, when this fish gets big, having a giant silver bullet swimming around the ponds. Going once.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do all Ginrin have no shiny scales near the head? And
That is correct.
Repeat the question. How much is it?
This fish is $200, and the question was, do all Ginrin not have any Ginrins on the head? And that is correct. You'll see if it's metallic, if it has metallic skin, you'll see a metallic sheen on the whole body. But the Ginrin is in the scales, so the scales are on the rest of the body, is not on the head. This is a really cool fish. I hope someone gets this one. We have any takers before we move on?
She was talking about the scales behind the head.
So the scales behind. So the Ginrin starts right behind the head here. It starts basically from the top. So the head ends right here. So you're not going to have any Ginrin there. But from that line back, you could have Ginrin. No takers on this unique Ginrin Sargo. We're going to move on. All right. Guys are quiet today. I have a good-sized Ginrin Chagoi. Guys, also from Marahiro, this is $200. Everyone's got to have a Ginrin Chagoi or Chagoi in their ponds. This is a fish that basically teaches all the other fish that it's okay to come and eat out of your hands. It's always the first fish to come to you in the ponds, and it's always the one that the other fish will follow. $200, Ginrin Chagoi from Marahiro. I think that maybe the phone thing is not turned off.
No, if they call you more than once, it will process through.
Yeah.
That's just the standard. Everything just went black.
Oh, excellent. It hasn't come back?
It's really blurry. Every time you get a phone call, it messes things up.
Ginrin Chagoi from Marahiro going for $200, 10 inches. Any takers?
Like 20 people on.
Really, only 20.
You want to turn on the laptop?
Yeah, it's just going to be one of those shows today, I guess. Going twice. Not really sure what's going on. All right. Maybe we should start it over. Just end it and restart it. Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties here.
Everyone's been having to go back in and go back out.
Let's restart it. You want to do that? I don't know. All right. Does anyone see anything in this bowl that they're interested in, that they'd like to see up close? No comments? Someone just said something?
It says that the show is nice.
All right. I'm going to put these guys back. Is there anything in particular you guys want to see? I'm thinking maybe just today's show is just...
Jeremy wants to see the show like a big show.
Very nice from Suzuki. This was from my picks, but I'll go 400 on it. Yeah, I'm going to say it's 10 to 11 inch. I do. We can find you something. I see a little bit more black coming up around the tail area. You know what, guys? We're going to restart this. if we restart it, you have to copy and paste and do all that stuff, or what do you want to do? Well, it's not really helping us continuing a show like this, so I say we restart it. All right, we're going to restart the show.